Hi, welcome to another episode of the Out of Office Club. Thank you for listening again. Last week, I ended the podcast with um, a promise that I was going to update you on a couple things, including the cruise, because that was, I think when I recorded, that was only the second or like first full day of the cruise. And today is actually the last full day. So I thought it would be really good to do a recap of my experience with both the Nomad Cruise, which is the company I booked this with, but also give you an idea of what cruise life is like. Because I personally never thought I was going to be on a cruise ever, and definitely not this soon. It kind of unexpectedly happened. But I thought that would be really fun because a lot of you guys have been really curious to know what this is like, what the experience is like. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. As you can see, some on the edge of the boat. There's a lot happening, so if you see me be a little bit distracted in case you're watching this on YouTube or you hear a lot of background noise, I'm really sorry. I, of course, never record in a studio. There's always going to be some background noise, but now especially here. Um, but, oh my God, where to start? It's been 12 days. So this cruise was 12 days. It, again, was with Nomad Cruise. That's who I booked this with. They organized this. And they do a cruise about once or twice a year. And the idea is that a bunch of nomads come together on a cruise to network, to learn, just have a good time, and of course, travel at the same time. The concept I thought was really fun. They had a really nice route, and it was in Asia where I was going to be anyway. So I thought, perfect. So I joined. We left now 11 days ago from Hong Kong. Also, in case you think, oh, she sounds a bit strange, I've been a little bit sick. Yesterday, actually, I had a fever. I was not doing well. Today, I'm a bit better, but I still have a bit of a cold, so that's why my voice might sound a little strange. And if I cough or have to pause, I'm really sorry. I'm going to try to do my best. But yeah, we left from Hong Kong. We went to the north of Malaysia. We went to Brunei, 2 stops in Vietnam, back to Hong Kong, and now we're on our way to the Philippines. So today is the last full day at sea. So this is the view for the rest of the day. And tomorrow morning, very early, we arrive in Manila in the Philippines. So that is was the route that we were doing. And it's on a massive cruise. Like, not it's a proper massive cruise, and the fun part actually is that for the first 10 days, so the whole trip, round trip from Hong Kong, we were here with the Nomad Cruise people, which is about, I think, around 200 people, maybe a bit more, of nomads. But next to that, of course, were also the normal passengers that booked this trip, and actually all of them left yesterday. So yesterday evening and today, the Nomad Cruise people and passengers basically have the boat to ourselves, which is amazing because this ship can hold thousands of people, and currently we're only 200. So that's also why I'm able to now record this here, kind of just somewhere in the boat instead of in my cabin like I did last week, because it's just a lot calmer. And it also meant that yesterday and today we can actually use some of the things that we've not been able to use before. Like, I really wanted to play some ping pong, but that was always taken. Some parts of the lounges or the bars were always taken. The casino was super full. And yesterday we actually had time to just walk around, try things, and kind of claim our space a little bit more, which was really nice. Every day had or has a program. So actually the 12 days are very, very full. There is something to do every single day. And one thing I did appreciate is that on the first day we do this whole kind of welcome and introductions, but they also explained, there's no way you can do everything. We have made it in a way that you can always find people and do something and you don't have to be bored. But that also means that the program is so packed with things. And if you're wondering what kind of activities those are, it goes from talks from people on board that are experts in their field that talk about whatever it is that they know a lot about. For example, there were a couple talks on social media about digital products, LinkedIn, real estate, AI, relationships. There was absolutely anything that you can think of. Whatever the people were experts in, whatever they know a lot about, they gave a talk on. They were, of course, curated, so they were picked, definitely based on the experience and their presentation. So they were really, really good. Those we had like 3 or 4 of every day to choose from. On top of that, there were different events, like they had salsa lessons, or they were doing karaoke, or also the community itself could organize a meetup. So there was someone who, I think he travels full time with only a backpack. So he gave like a little community session about how he does that. And there were so many more, and they were all so interesting. There was a story night. There was multiple parties that they organized. Every day the program was full. So I was very appreciative that they also said to us, listen, you cannot go to anything, and also don't try, because that's going to be too much. And I 100% agree. I don't think I went to even 50%, and I'm exhausted in a good way. But I definitely feel like as much as I enjoyed it, it also is long. I think 12 days is long. Maybe also just for me. I would say, based on being on the ship again, I think I am more of an introvert. I really, really enjoy meeting new people, and it does give me a lot of energy. But doing this for 12 days straight, like, I have no energy left. I think that's also why I got a bit sick. I've not been as social the past couple of days. I've just been hanging out with people I already know. So I'm going through it. And I'm happy that we're leaving tomorrow. Also sad because, again, I did meet so many great people. But I'm also happy to leave and do my own thing. And when I do that, I'm going to hide in a dark room for 2 days and not talk to anyone so I can recharge. But yeah, I would say overall, my experience was good. I will, because I want to give you honest feedback. The first 2 days, I was very overwhelmed. I was like, shit, I don't know if this is for me. This is a bit much. It all feels very, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too organized. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. Then the next couple days, I got more into the routine that you have here, because of course everything again is a bit set and organized. There's specific times where you can go and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you have to join those. Otherwise, you can eat, but then you have to pay extra, right? The normal meal times are included in the price. Everything else is extra, so you kind of have to follow those. There's certain other things that are kind of not mandatory, but I do think make the experience a lot better, and that is the talks. I think most people are here to learn and network, and those talks are the best way to do that. So that's something else that I really did try and go to. And of course, just socialize. So I think for me, though, I think I skipped every single party. By the end of the day, I was so tired and I could not be bothered going to the party. So I went to one, maybe, for like half an hour. I was like, this is enough. I've seen enough. This was fun. It was great. Now I'm going to bed. So everyone does this thing a bit different. I think everyone has their own way of going through this cruise. There's also people that I know went to almost like every single event, and then there's people that I don't think I've seen in the past 12 days who did a lot more their own thing. Because keep in mind, everyone, or most people, also are working. I'm also working from here, so there are a couple days or hours where I just really had to do my own thing and work, and that's possible, which is good. So yeah, the program itself, packed, but super interesting and really nice. There's about 200 people, which means that in those 12 days, I don't even think I met half. Surprisingly, I talked to so many people. It is impossible to talk to everyone. It's also not the goal, so I was fine with that. Then in terms of just the cruise life itself, because of course Nomad Cruise, they organize this. They make sure that we have a spot that we can do our talks, that everything's organized. But of course, then there's also the cruise itself. Right now we're on the Costa Serena. And I would say is, from what I've heard as well, because again, this is my first cruise, that this is not the best, most luxurious cruise line. But I mean, for me, like, I don't know anything better. I don't know anything else. I can't really complain. The food was not great, but it was fine. Everything was somewhat organized. Of course, there were some delays here and there, but I really didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty pretty okay. I know some people complained a bit, but those are mainly the people that went on other cruises before and maybe were used to a bit higher service. I'm not sure. But I did really enjoy it. It's kind of weird to be on such a big ship and not be able to leave. Apparently, on this, it was 12 days. We did do a lot of stops. So almost every other day we had a stop, which also made everything a bit more stressful. So how that worked. Days at sea are very easy. You just, again, follow the schedule, do whatever you want. I mean, there's a lot of entertainment on board as well from the cruise itself, not from Nomad Cruise, but from the cruise. So they had Italian lessons, also dance lessons, they had bingo, they had, you name it, they had it. So even if you did not follow the Nomad Cruise schedule, you can just join the Costa schedule and you'd be entertained the whole day. I don't think I joined any of it, but they gave you a piece of paper every day to tell you what was happening. And it was a long list. Like, trust me, if you go on these cruises, you do not have to be bored at all. Whether that's with Nomad Cruise or on your own, there's so much to do. Then, on days where you do go off the ship, I would say they're not as stressful as I thought they would be, especially like getting off the ship. Generally, was quite fast and easy. You just queue up, they scan your card, and you walk out. Of course, I did always get a bit nervous of making sure I was on the ship on time because they do leave at a certain time, and if you're not there, they will wait, I think, for a little bit, but at some point they're gonna have to go, or they're gonna miss their next stop or be too delayed. So then apparently they take your luggage off the ship and your passport and they just leave it at the port for you to pick up when you're finally there. So I was always a bit stressed of not making it back on time, which means I was back on the ship an hour, sometimes 2 hours before I had to, but and again, completely fine. All of that was decent, very manageable, very nice. I quite like that though, the days to go off the ship and explore. You don't always dock in the most convenient places, so there was a couple spots that we docked where we still had to go and travel quite a bit to get to somewhere nice, which wasn't always easy. So that can be a bit annoying, but I mean, again, all bit depends on your expectations, I would say, and as long as you're flexible and you just see what happens when you go off the ship, I think you'll be fine. I think then for the price, I know a lot of people ask me about this. The pricing with Nomad Cruise truly depends on the cruise itself. Every cruise is different. They already announced that they're going to do 2 more cruises this year, to us at least, like a couple days ago. One is going to be 7 days, and I think the other was a bit longer, 12 to 17. I think they're not sure yet. But of course, it all depends on the location, the duration, and the cruise line itself. So it will be different for every type of cruise. For this cruise, because it was 12 days with Costa in Asia, I think a shared room, if I remember it right, was around 1,600 euros for it. And it's a shared cabin with a window. I think there was one cheaper option without a window, and there's a more luxurious option with like a balcony. Then the other thing that you have to think about is when you go on board, you have the option to purchase a drink package. That is extra cost so that you can have basically anything else than water included, so like soft drinks, but also alcohol if you want. I did not get that because I mainly drink water, but that is an extra cost. And anything else that you buy on the ship, of course, is extra. Like if you want different dinner, if you want ice cream, you name it, that's extra. Everything in terms of activities and stuff is included. So you don't really have to worry about that. Plus, when you get off the ship, it can get a bit expensive if you book a lot of tours. Because those, of course, are not included, plus transportation. Again, sometimes you arrive at a port and it's very far from a nice city or a nice place, so you have to take a taxi to get there. So that adds up to the costs. And that's actually something else that I didn't mention yet, but Nomad Cruise organizes a lot of tours also for the days that you're not on the ship. So we arrived to Malaysia and they did a trip there I didn't join that, but I think they did 2 trips, including scuba diving. Then in Brunei, they had organized a city trip. Every location they had something, and then you could just book that if you want, and if not, you can just do your own thing. Get off the ship and do your own thing. You don't have to join a tour, but sometimes it can be nice, especially if you want to see a bit more, or if you just don't want to have to organize anything yourself. And those are, of course, also paid extra. Again, also those costs really depend on where they are, what the options are. But I paid, I think, for my 2 tours that I booked, which was a snorkeling tour in Vietnam and a city tour in Brunei. I think I paid around €80 for each tour, which was a full day tour, lunch included, transportation included, well organized. It was quite nice. So that's basically all that we did for 12 days straight. Wake up early, go for breakfast, go to a talk, socialize, go for lunch, then I do a bit of work, go to another talk or another event, have dinner, and then there was usually another more like laid back event, like a story time or a karaoke or a party, or I just went to bed early. It was one of those. So I would say that I enjoyed it. I did. But I'm also really tired now. I think 12 days for me maybe was a bit too long. But again, I've seen people on the ship and they loved it so much. There's people here that come back every year. There's some of these people have been on, I think, all of the 16 cruises that they've organized so far, because this is cruise 16. And I understand it's a really nice experience to just all be together like this and meet so many people and do so much. I'm not sure if it's for me. I don't know if I would go again, especially not 12 days. But I could be convinced, I think. I think this is perfect if you are either a bit nervous maybe to travel on your own. I do think this is a good option. There's quite some people on the boat that are quite new to the nomad life and just really want to meet people who already have this lifestyle, to learn from that and to find out how they can do it. But there's also lots of people on this boat who've been nomads for over 10 years, and they still also really benefit from going here and meeting all of these people and building a network. And I think that's also what most of us nomads are looking for. We're just looking for ways to connect and build a network, and I think this is a really, really good way to do that. I also heard lots of people that already knew each other from other nomad events, nothing to do with the cruise, just other nomad events. So I feel like that's quite interesting, and I can imagine that now when I travel, I'll probably, or I might just run into someone who has been on the same cruise with me, who, I don't know, maybe I did talk to, maybe I did not, but most of us travel full time, or at least a lot of the year, a lot of months of the year. Oh, my brain is a bit fried. So I do recommend it for those people. I think extroverts would definitely thrive here, which also, again, explains why I'm quite tired. I do think I'm more of an introvert, and it's just fun. But again, you can make this cruise whatever you want it to be. You can go to every talk and every event and be absolutely social every single day, or you can just hide a bit in your cabin, do some work, sit in one of the restaurants, put your headphones on and do a bit of work. The experience, though, I thought was really cool. I didn't think I was going to be on a cruise. It is a very, very different experience to be on sea for this long. I will say, because I have motion sickness and I can get very sick also in cars or on boats, but this has actually been fine. I would say most days the sea is quite calm like it is now, and you don't notice so much. Only when you try and walk in a straight line, you notice yourself as if you're drunk, swaying a bit left or right, which is quite funny. But other than that, I didn't really get sick. The sea was quite fine. Just one night, I think, where there was a lot of movement. And when I say a lot, I mean I probably could get 5 times worse, but I thought it was a lot. And that I didn't like. I definitely didn't sleep so well, but you get used to it. I think other people also complained about getting a little bit seasick, but it really wasn't that bad. A lot of people brought seasickness pills and like remedies to combat seasickness, but it wasn't that bad. actually was pleasantly surprised by how not sick I was, basically. So yeah, seasickness is not that bad, luckily, at least on these really big boats, because you barely notice it. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I wanted to say about the cruise. If you have any other questions about cruise life, about the Nomad Cruise, if you want to know anything, let me know. I do also have a code for $100 off, if I'm saying that right, if I remember it right. I think, which I'll put, I think it's on my website. I'll put it on my website. You'll find it somewhere. So you get $100 off in case you're interested. Have a look. They have many different types of cruises. Again, there's only 1 or 2 every year. But if you want to experience a cruise, but you don't want to go on your own, because I don't know if I recommend that, then I do highly recommend trying out Nomad Cruise. So then, short personal update, and then my plans for after this. During, I think also in the last podcast, I said that I went on a date with a guy from Hong Kong. We went on 2 dates, actually. And that I wasn't sure if I was going to see him again. So yesterday we arrived in Hong Kong and we had about 5 hours before continuing. So yesterday morning we went on our 3rd date. We went out for breakfast and coffee, and it was really nice. I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really good date. Which means now I'm also a bit sad because I don't know if I'm going to see him again. He is now in Asia, but he's going to go back to America soon. I'm going to be in the Philippines, so we talked about it, but I felt like we both knew that it was probably going to be really difficult to see each other again, and both of us at some point said maybe we should just end this here, but then we also couldn't. It is so hard. I think this is the part about the nomad life probably that I dislike the most. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes you meet someone who you really, really like. And I mean, not just romantically, but also friendships. Sometimes you just meet someone you really click with, you really like. And then someone leaves after a couple days and it's always really hard. It's like, oh, I finally found a person. And then they go again because it's not every day that you meet someone that you really like. So yeah, this time, met a guy I quite liked. But unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to see each other because he's busy with work. I'm busy with work. We're in different countries. So it's not looking very great, unfortunately. So I'm not very optimistic on that. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. It's part of it. I don't know what else to say. If there's any other update, of course, you'll be the first to know. But right now, we're still texting. We're still in contact. Who knows? Maybe we can see each other again somewhere and go on a 4th date. But I doubt it, to be honest, which is sad. Tomorrow morning, we arrive very early in Manila, in the Philippines. The idea is to stay in Manila for a couple days with a couple of the girls that I met here on the cruise, who I love. They are amazing. So I'm very excited to spend some days with them in Manila. And we already agreed we're going to do nothing. We're going to arrive, chill, not too much. And then I'm probably going to go, but I'm not sure yet, to Siargao in the Philippines because I heard some really good things. I heard there's a nice community there. There's lots to do. It's really just a beautiful spot. So I might go there for a month or so before going to some other spots in the Philippines because I was also thinking of going to El Nido. I know a couple people are going to Boracay, but I'm not sure if I'll join them. But that is then the plan, a month in the Philippines, which I am really, really excited about because I've actually never been to the Philippines. So I really want to go and explore it. I heard some really, really good things as well. So I'm very excited for that. And of course, I'm going to bring you with me and tell me what it's like, what life is like there. Keep you up to date on my travels, my dating, if we ever hear back from Hong Kong guy and if I see him again, what life's like and everything else. So thank you for listening again. Again, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.